This week on Firies, 600 degrees and counting.
It's hot, it's smoky, we can't see a thing. You're down on your hands and knees.
7 cyclists down. D platoon to the rescue.
You know, we've got the training and the skill to do it, so when we can, we lend a hand.
And from stormy weather to lethal light show.
Whoa! Be careful of that rebound. Gonna drop.
The temperature at this ceiling is 600 degrees. At this point, hot gases ignite, the smoke plane drops, and this fire enters a deadly phase.
It's hot, it's smoky, we can't see a thing. You're down on your hands and knees.
And right in the thick of it, members of Liverpool's B platoon.
We look up at the ceiling height and through the smoke, and once we see flames going through, we know that the gases are starting to ignite.
Funds available for firefighting. Backing out, man. Backing out, brother. Out we go.
When a fiery enters a burning building, their life literally hangs in the balance. Staying alive means keeping cool and using all their skills to get to the fire, rescue any trapped people, and get out safely. Today, it's B platoon's turn to be tested.
All right, go casualties.
Gleb's D platoon is on its way to relieve at another fire station when they come across several cyclists down.
We're just going to pull over and offer some assistance. Over.
We are just getting footage and some raw pictures from Sydney. An emergency crews are responding to a crash in the city's southeast involving a group of cyclists.
The cyclists have been involved in a serious crash.
We're on Southern Cross Drive, just before the Wentworth Road Mascot exit, so we've come across this incident. It's a main thoroughfare for people coming from south going to north, so if you do travel this road in the morning, you'll see there's heaps and heaps of cyclists on it.
D platoon does what it can to assist the ambos.
Come across it, so we've offered a bit of manpower, and that's just to put the patients on the spine boards and then assist them over this steel wire rope that separates the two sides of the road, and also it stabilises the patient, helps to keep them nice and still if they do have spinal injuries.
We're going to need a hand to carry out.
Some of the victims need urgent care.
Part of the risk, isn't it? You put yourself on the road, whether it's in a motor vehicle or on a bike, and you know it's a calculated or it's a risk you accept. But unfortunately, it doesn't always turn out nicely. Guys, we've got another one up here.
Yeah.
There's really only one way to know if a fiery has what it takes to cope in an environment like this. That is, to experience it. B platoon is inside a room filled with smoke and fire. It's a very dangerous situation, and it's called hot cell training.
We're at our live fire training centre, so we bring the firefighters here and we run them through their fire training. So we actually light real fires and try to put them in the most realistic situations we can.
Liverpool is brushing up on some hose techniques, attacking and retreating from a fire, and breaching doorways. They need to show the instructors they can use a fine mist to control heat and flame.
If I drew a smoke layer above here, probably 50% went on the ground. Here, these are our practice sort of props here to practice what we call cold door entry. And they get the skills down pat, and then we move across to our live fire burn over here, where we'll be burning real materials and creating a much more realistic environment in terms of that smoke layer, in terms of the heat.
The purpose-built cell is made from 6 shipping containers welded into a T-shape. The layout is a typical home with hallways, bedrooms, furniture and bedding. Just like in a real fire, B platoon doesn't know what's lurking behind the front door.
We'll do our door entry here, we just practice, okay? And then it'll be up to you guys to make an advance. And like I said, our number 1 instructor will be with you on that initial advance, okay?
This is about as real as it gets, yeah.
Are you ready to go, Venus?
Very ready.
Bring it on. Turn back. Let's go.
The fire flares up in the rear of the house. 60-kilogram fake victims are hidden from the crew. The flame spreads rapidly and smoke and heat quickly fill the whole building. Instructors make their way into position. It's time for B Platoon to start its run.
The first pair will go in as fire attack.
Ready? Yep.
And they're going to try and locate that fire and put that fire out.
During our door entry procedure, what we're doing is cooling the hot fire gases, which can ignite if they're too hot. And the crews practice advancing aggressively on a fire and dealing with it.
Right, you need more hose. There's another opening round the right side of that. It's the partition, go round the right.
This particular fire cell training, it's brilliant. It's exactly what the kind of conditions you're going to be exposed to. Don't know where you're going half the time, which again is exactly what it's like in a house fire.
Right, is that the door? We'll just paint it so your hose is behind.
Pearl and Cobby find the seat of the fire.
Now as the smoke becomes hot enough and falls in the rain, start to ignite.
Conditions reach the point where anyone not wearing protective gear and breathing apparatus will perish. Glebe's D Platoon has found itself on the front line of a nasty accident near Sydney Airport. A group of cyclists has been involved in a crash, some with potentially serious injuries. D Platoon is helping the Ambos and police to ensure these injuries don't get any worse.
We've sort of stopped just to give a hand because many hands make light work, and you obviously need to stabilise the body, get them through and get them nice and flat. You know, we've got the training and the skill to do it, so when we can, we lend a hand.
I do some cycling for part of my triathlon training. Training on the road is dangerous. You always got to be wary of drivers, and drivers have always got to be wary of cyclists where they are. I wouldn't be game enough to cycle along here, but you see people every morning cycling here. It's scary, and it puts me off. There's been a lot of time I've been on the bike, and I've had some close incidents.
You feel for the persons riding the bike, they're out there getting fit, or they're serious bike riders training, and you feel for their families too. I mean, they're out doing what they love.
With nothing more for Glebe to do at the scene, they can leave knowing they've done their best for the cyclists. And doing their best includes a life-saving wake-up call.
No, I didn't actually. You guys actually woke me up.
Today, Liverpool's B Platoon is put to the test in hot cell training. Although it's an exercise, the fire is real, and a false move could prove fatal.
The next crew is going to go in and they're going to start search and rescue and start looking for any casualties that are in there.
All right, go, casualties!
Venus and Dan rescue a person trapped in the fire.
I've got two, yeah. I'll follow you guys.
While Pearl and Cobby head towards the flames. Even for a simulation, it's hardcore.
The only way we're going to deal with that is if you put out the fire, go to direct attack, and then level 2. Okay, now watch this, put that out and
Back in the hallway, Specky and Irene are on a search and rescue mission.
I've been into quite a few burning buildings over the years, and very close to what you would get out there. Get in there that you can't see, your hand in front of your face, the smoke plane's down really low. It's good training.
They put out the fire and all crews retreat to safety.
Now, back to gas cooling. I want you to simulate a retreat. Be careful, it might reignite again before the turn back. Yeah, perfect. Okay, head out, guys. Backing out, Dan.
Oh, look, 8 Station did a great job today, and we sort of expect that. They're a very senior crew and a very experienced crew. So actually what we're asking them to do was what we'd call their bread and butter.
You know, they say you're going to be 40 minutes, it seems like 4, which is what it's like at a job.
It's a good sort of training environment to make mistakes but learn from them, and that's what we did today. It was good.
It's halfway through Glebe's night shift and D platoon, with relieving SO Chris Elvis Stathis, is called to a report of smoke in a nearby apartment. When they arrive, Piermont is already at the scene.
We're here.
By the time they reach level 2, Piermont's SO, Belinda Hooker, emerges from the apartment with a smoke-affected man.
We'll try and actually get some of those windows open, and we'll probably get the fan up here.
Yeah, no worries.
He'd left a hot plate on and gone to sleep. The man is reluctant to stray too far from his front door.
What's that?
I'm actually afraid I'll get myself locked up.
Oh, it's okay. If you want to step over there, I'll make sure the door's open for you. Just a bit too smoky for you.
His smoke alarm failed to alert him.
You guys actually woke me up. I actually don't remember like turning one of the plates actually on.
Boys from Petrol are just releasing a cylinder of oxygen in there to try and blow the smoke out through the windows a little bit.
We'll have a look and see. You happy with that? Oh, we just locked the door on this deal.
Oops. Smoked out, now locked out.
Ambulance emergency, what suburb, please? Yes, it's Moorebank. Okay, tell me exactly what's happened.
My son, just on 18, it's his 18th birthday party.
Yep.
He had apparently put some petrol into a drum and threw some paper in, and it blew up into his face.
Okay.
But he has significant facial burns, singed eyebrows and hair.
Another evening shift for Liverpool, and without knowing what's going to confront the Firies, B platoon must prepare for fire and a burns victim.
Get our trauma kit, back up if we need that.
But one thing's clear, the party is over. With no sign of fire, Chris soon discovers the birthday boy in big trouble.
If I had have known what he was doing, just put a couple of inches of petrol in a drum and threw some paper in. When he threw it in, it whooshed and his whole face.
Bring it outside. What's this scene, hey? There's too many people here.
While young Grant might be surprised by all the attention now, his red face is likely to give him grief later.
The gentleman's tried to use petrol to accelerate the cooking process, and it's gone horribly wrong and literally blown up in his face. He's very, very fortunate. I've certainly seen a lot worse, but in this case he's going to be okay.
Grant spent a night in hospital and escaped with minor burns.
18 crew to 18 pump.
Glebe's night shift just got more complicated.
18 pump replying.
We appear to have locked ourselves out.
Glebe and Piermont platoons have rescued a man from a smoke-filled apartment, only to have his front door lock them all out. Tomo opts for a high-rise approach.
Vented the room with a cylinder and then closed the door behind him on his way out, so he's locked everyone out of the room. And the guy's there, so rather than bust his door down, we've got to try and gain access through a little window now. That's not his, just that one. Tiny. Okay.
While Tomo climbs up to the small window, the occupant of the apartment is given some oxygen. No doubt grateful he was woken by the Firies and his front door left intact.
We didn't destroy the door. Old mate can go back into his smoke-filled apartment. I can go back to bed. It's a funny job sometimes. It's a funny job.
It's also a dangerous one.
Whoa! Be careful, that
It's early evening and a fierce storm cell is moving across Sydney. It's the kind of weather that keeps Firies on alert. Both Glebe and Liverpool are on night shift, and it's only a matter of time before the storm calls come. Liverpool is first.
I would have thought it was that one. Number 6, mate. Close.
B platoon is called to a suburban cul-de-sac with an arcing power line damaged by the storm. The current caused by arcing can easily kill.
Just be careful that rebound in there, corner.
The electricity from these high voltage power lines can arc up to 6 metres with the potential to make the whole area live. The inner city is also affected by the storm. Glebe is called to a fallen tree that's blocked a road. It's a quiet neighbourhood, so D platoon is using manual labour instead of power tools to clear the road.
Can you clear the bow saw, mate?
Just start clearing those branches, Jack, as he cuts them away. We'll just put them to the side.
Who needs a chainsaw? Hey? Oh, it's less noisy. Less noisy, exactly. Better for the environment. Makes me sweat again at 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm done.
All right.
With the road clear and a little safety tape, the rest is left for council.
Bow saw did the trick. Cut a few branches, just clear them out of the way. Council can come pick them up in the morning. It's no longer a danger for passing motorists.
Oh, got a drop. RPA blue wire has now frazzled and detached from pole. It is live on the ground.
At Liverpool's light show, Chris is taking no chances.
So what we do is we set up an exclusion zone, particularly because it's wet. The power spans out, much like if you drop a pebble in a pond. The further away you are from where the pebble drops, the less power there is. So we've set up a zone of at least 8 metres to stay away from that power potential. The people are safe inside their home, and it's just a matter of waiting until the electrical authority arrives and makes the situation even safer.
The Emergency Power Authority has his own special tools to deal with this situation.
What I've got is a telescopic cutter, and it allows me to cut away service wires at the distributor to isolate supply to that down service wire. Once they're cut, the wire's dead, and it's easy to work with.
Old pliers, mate.
So I separated the wires, cut them away, taped the ends and taped it up to the pole. It's a couple of decades of UV exposure, and as soon as you get a bit of water on there, that's a recipe for a short circuit.
Wire has now been de-energised and cut by Ausgrid. Position is now safe. Rescue pumper 8 is now code 4.
A return to base ready for a special visit tomorrow. But even the best laid plans.
You pretty much get that call on the radio and bang, you've got to switch off from that school visit to what's going on.
This morning, B Platoon is due to present a fire safety talk at a local school. It has special significance for Irene because her daughter is one of the teachers. Bill Specky Speck is relieving for regular SO Chris Andrews.
We had a school booked. In this instant, the rescue crew come with us.
But today proves Firies can't always predict what will happen next.
Still in the vehicle, making investigations, police and attendants,
You pretty much get that call on the radio and bang, you've got to switch off from that school visit to what's going on. So we've got to get our gear on, we've got to have everything right, we've got to be switched on. 10 person injured, ambulance required. Park in the middle behind the heavy might be the best part.
When they arrive, they find 2 badly damaged vehicles, one driver still in his car. In case something ignites, Dan stands by with a 38mm hose.
How is he? Is he trapped by confinement or so you?
It looks messy, but this is one lucky driver.
He'll be right.
He's going to do a blood pressure and walk him out.
He's very lucky. He's come up there, he's hit this parked car,
And he's quite lucky he didn't hit the telegraph pole. Very, very lucky man.
Nothing for us to do at this stage.
Dan, you back that up, mate.
What time is it? Are we still meant to be going to your daughter's school?
I think so, yeah.
With its job done, Liverpool can continue its journey to the local school.
So hands up everyone who has a smoke alarm in their house. If you haven't got a smoke alarm in your house, I hope you go home this afternoon and have a chat to mum or dad or whoever you live with.
We often leave them with a message to take back to their parents, you know, find out if you've got a smoke alarm and if not, why not.
Firies recommend you change the batteries when you change your clocks for daylight savings.
So basically what this gear allows us to do is to survive in environments that normal people can't. If you're in a house fire and Mark was trying to come and get you, if you're ever in that situation, that you let Mark know that you're there and you don't hide from him.
My mum is firefighter Irene, so I thought it would be nice for her to come out and have a visit.
Firefighter Irene there has got the largest hose that we've got, the 70mm hose.
Having a mum who's a firefighter, it's really cool. Very proud of her, it's very unique.
First aid kit, and we've got oxygen in there, so if we turn up at a fire...
I saw her at a fire once from a distance, and there were concrete walls falling down and things like that, and so that was pretty scary, wondering what was happening out there, but try not to think about it too much.
Question?
Better hearing about it afterwards rather than knowing what's happening at the time.
But Irene wouldn't swap it for anything.
My motivation in the job is basically just helping people. It does make you feel good, especially the kids. They always like the big red truck and the Firies on it.
Next week on Firies, city lockdown.
The risk that the crane could fall onto one of the buildings around here or across the Carl Expressway.
100 stories and nowhere to go but up.
I'm struggling, mate.
Resting on level 50, over.
And
I'll be talk of the street, I tell you.